Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Red Bull Slurpee here, and I haven't made a video in a while, but I'm making a video today to show you guys a new build that I've messed around with on Diablo 3. This is pretty similar to the Frozen Orb variant for Wizards. I kind of just made this up because I was a little bored of playing with Frozen Orb. So this isn't really used for pushing, this is just used for speed farming. Pretty similar to the Frozen Orb variant. But what it uses instead is Disintegrate and Meteor for your damage. So you pretty much run the same setup that you do for Frozen Orb with a few things different. You're running these pieces for Tal Rasha. You also have a ROG in the cube because you need to wear the Shame of Dulcere so you can get back your arcane power pretty quickly. We're running the Mantle of Channeling, so that way while you're channeling Disintegrate, you gain 25% damage, as well as 25% damage reduction. We are running the Focus and Restraint Rings, so that way you get 100% increased damage when you use your basic attack and a Arcane Spender. We're running the Death Wish, so that way while you're channeling Disintegrate, you gain 250 to 325 damage. And we're also running the Eshed Sigil, so while you're channeling this, you gain more damage, and it casts Meteor for you as well. And we are running Nilfir's Boast, so that way your Meteor deals increased damage. I'm running with Nemesis Bracer, so that way I can speed farm Death Breaths, but you can also run the Ancient Pathorn Defenders, I think they're called. I'm not sure if I have a pair lying around. Guess not. Oh, here's one. You can also run Ancient Pathorn Defenders, so that way when you use your teleport, your Calamity Rune will stun them, and you'll take reduced damage instead of running Nemesis Bracers. The gems we are running is Powerful, Daze, and Teguk. That way when you're channeling Disintegrate, Teguk, your Disintegrate will proc your Teguk. We're running Zaze because I like to keep a distance with this build. I've actually been testing whether or not Audacity or Power Hungry was better. I think Power Hungry is a little bit better in terms of survivability, as this build is very squishy. So I think Power Hungry is a little bit better, so that way you're not up close. We're running Unwavering Will to get some damage and armor and resistance when you're standing still casting Disintegrate. We're running Blur for even more damage reduction, and we have Unstable Anomaly in case you take too much damage, you want to knock all those enemies away. That's pretty much it for the gear. The skills we're running is Shock Pulse, Piercing Orb. That way it procs your 1 stack of Tal Rasha's. Got Disintegrate, obviously. That's what this build kind of revolves around. We have Magic Weapon with Deflection on, so that way you get a shield, so you have a little bit more damage reduction. You can also run Force Weapon for a little bit more damage if you want. I'm just using Deflection. We have Teleport Calamity. We have Meteor with the Cold Rune, so we proc the other Tal Rasha stack. And lastly, we have Energy Armor and Force Armor. We go over here, I'll show you what I have in the cube. We're running the Aether Walker, so you can teleport an unlimited amount of times as long as you don't run out of arcane power. But with the Shame of Dulcere belt, that shouldn't be a problem. We're running the Cinder Coat, so Disintegrate takes less arcane power to cost, or to channel, and we are running the ROG because we have to wear this belt so we get back some arcane power. So I'll go ahead and do a 60 here to show you what this build is like. Again, it's pretty similar to the Frozen Orb variant. This is just my version of it because I got bored of playing the Frozen Orb. Keep in mind, this is pretty squishy. Those of you who know, the GR60 is the equivalent of Torment 13. So as you can see, it's pretty much going through everything pretty quickly. Minus a few of the Juggernaut elites. So it's a pretty decent for speed farming for those of you who don't want to use the Frozen Orb variant. Frozen Orb might have a tiny bit more damage than this due to some of the things that you put in the cube, as well as the weapons that you wear and the legendary stats that affect Frozen Orb. But like I said, I just pretty much made this because I didn't really want to play Frozen Orb so much anymore. And I didn't really see a good Disintegrate build around for the current patch that we're on, apart from old versions like 2.4. So I decided to mess around with it a little bit and see what I could figure out. And I don't think it's too bad of a build. I mean, it's for speed farming, so it gets the job done. You know, it's not really meant for pushing. See, is it this way? There we go. And as you can see from wearing the Nulfur's Boast, your Meteor gains a lot more damage than normal, so that's what helps really kind of hold this build together apart from just using Disintegrate. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like I said, I know the build might not be as good as Frozen Orb, but for those of you who don't really want to play Frozen Orb, here's another variant of Frozen Orb.